Hey everyone, it's Dr. Beard, and I'm joined by my husband, Paul, and we're going to discuss the Kids Total Gut Job. Now, this is a program that we have used on many patients before with really good success. And what this program does ultimately is rehabilitate your child's gut health. And it does this in a variety of ways. And this program also includes an elimination and reintroduction diet. The total length of the program is 60 days. And so for the first 30 days, we are eliminating the foods that are typically the most problematic for people. And at a particular time after that 30 days is up, we start reintroducing those foods in a very strategic fashion so that we can really hone in on what particular food protein might be the problem. Now, a very important part of this program is rehabilitating the gut function and rebalancing the microbiome before you start reintroducing foods. We have to make sure that gut lining is in a better place. There's no leaky gut that's present when you start reintroducing foods, because if you do, you're going to get a lot of false positives. So the products that we're using in this program are all about optimizing gut function and rebalancing the GI microbiome.
Okay.
So let's go through the products.
The first one is we have 60 days worth of the Children's Foundation multivitamin.
So yes, this is a multivitamin. It's the function is basically in the name. It's going to provide your child the all the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, and some antioxidants in there to help the cells in the gut do what they need to do, so that your gut can function properly.
And it's a chewable,
Yes, it's chewable form.
berry flavored, so it's very easy for the child to take. The next product you have in here is the Liquid Omega 3. It's a mango flavored, so it's tolerated by the children pretty well.
Right.
Why did you include it?
So all of your cells in your body need omega-3 fatty acids. Unfortunately, most of us are not consuming foods that are high in omega-3 fatty acids, and I keep finding this deficiency in children, adults as well, but children too. And so we've included this to address that deficiency, because when there's a deficiency of omega-3 fatty acids, an imbalance between omega-3 and omega-6s occurs. And when this imbalance occurs, it causes inflammation in the body. So by adding this to the program, we are addressing this imbalance, helping correct an inflammatory state. And this is very good for your gut health. Likes this as well.
Okay.
The cells that line the gut tract, the cells of the digestive system, require this same balance.
Right.
And another thing that we see when we start including omega-3 fatty acids, particularly with children, is better behavior and better focus. And I've seen this time and time again, probably because of what is occurring directly within the gut.
Well, it's important also because as you're doing your introduction, you may find foods that cause behavioral problems. So it's nice to try to remove as many behavioral problems up front
Right.
with the omega-3.
Right.
And therefore, when you give them some red food dye number 2 and they start climbing the walls, you can pin it to that, not
A lack of omega-3 fatty acids.
correct.
Yeah.
So the next one kind of threw me for a loop. You have liquid vitamin D with K2. Why vitamin D? I mean, kids never go outside anymore.
Well, not all kids, but we are finding the trend, and it's of children simply not getting outside nearly as much as they used to. In fact, there was a study done that showed that children were spending less time outside than prisoners.
Nice.
And that was alarming and quite sad. And and I find this in a lot of my pediatric patients, is they simply aren't getting outside enough. And when you do that, you're not going to get enough vitamin D. And vitamin D is not a vitamin, it is a hormone, and it is a hormone that is absolutely crucial to proper immune function. And for a balanced immune system and one that is geared away from an inflammatory state, you have to have vitamin D on board. So this is just to supplement, to make sure that the child is getting enough vitamin D during this process.
And which improve their immune function.
But we would love for the children, to get outside more. And once you've completed the program, you don't need the vitamin D anymore, right? Because you're getting it from the sun. Now there are times, depending on where you live, when that's just, no matter if you can get outside or not, you're going to be covered up and bundled.
So
So
the vitamin
it
D
has its place.
immune function, improving it.
Absolutely.
Okay. The next one is really a conglomerate of products. It's our foundation shake.
Yeah.
And I guess first give them the little spiel that they're going to have to make it taste good, and then we'll go through each component.
Yeah, so the foundation shake is something Paul and I actually formulated several years ago because we could not find anything on the market that met our needs or what we thought our patients needed.
Right.
And this shake it's a medicinal shake. It is not supposed to taste like some type of milkshake you get at a fast food joint, or a Sonic Blast or a Wendy's Frosty or something. But you can make it taste good.
Yeah, if it's cold, if you put frozen berries or ice, that
And we
helps.
we have there's recipes on the package itself, and then on the Facebook group that people join when they do the program, we offer lots of other recipes as well. And so you just kind of make it your own. I do recommend that it is, like you mentioned, cold when you drink it. And so frozen berries typically make that happen. But you can add different spices, whether it's like, cinnamon,
vanilla.
You can even add celery, carrots, apples. There's so many ways you can make this your own. And we have plenty of kids who, even after the program, continue to drink it.
Now, the key is that if they don't like it the very first time, change the profile a little
Right.
bit. They will get used to it. The foundation shake is the key to healing their gut.
Right.
This is the biggest thing we're using.
Because there's a lot going on in this shake.
The backbone of it is pea isolate, which is easy to digest.
It's the protein source. We use pea isolate as the protein source.
And a coconut milk powder.
Coconut milk powder provides a lot of fat, so that's going to provide a lot of satiety, but it also can address some candida overgrowth that might be present because of the caprylic acid.
Yep.
And it also contains what we call super greens, so that's going to provide a lot of antioxidants that the intestinal tract likes, as do the bacteria that reside there. It also contains something called L-glutamine, which we know helps repair any gut permeability. So gut permeability is also known as leaky gut. So the gut lining can start to kind of unravel and come apart, and food proteins will leak across the gut lining, and that's not supposed to happen.
Right.
There's a way that things get assimilated and digested and absorbed, but that's not the way per se. And so when these food proteins leak across the gut, the immune system see them as foreign invaders and mount an immune response. And that immune response never just stays right there. It goes systemic, and it can be expressed as a multitude of symptoms. So we have to make sure that that gut lining is intact, and the L-glutamine in the shake helps us do that, because that's very important, especially when you get to the reintroduction phase. You do not want a leaky gut.
No.
Because then your foods, you're going to get results that you may think, oh, this food is causing a problem. The food's not causing the problem. The leaky gut is the issue.
And with every product we have in this shake, everything is at a therapeutic dose. So these are not just little trace amounts to make
Especially the
package
L-glutamine. It is a truly therapeutic dose of L-glutamine.
more than you would actually get in a supplement.
Right.
Take too many pills. Another,
Also, what else is in there?
well, you mentioned cinnamon to make it taste better, but I actually, when we designed this, you asked me to help control blood sugar. So there's 1 gram of Ceylon cinnamon, which is a lot. You don't taste it as much as
No,
you
you
think.
don't taste it really, but it does help with blood sugar stability because we do know that when your gut health is not optimal and the GI microbiome is imbalanced, blood sugar instability also typically exists. And I don't know if you've been around people who are hangry or they're having blood sugar instability, but it can cause some irritability.
Yep.
And
Food cravings if they're out of,
right,
the overshoot. So this helps your kids'
it
behavior.
keeps those blood sugars helps keeps those blood sugars more stable, and get rid of a lot of those highs and lows that can occur.
Another product we included here, which I don't think is in any other shake out there, and it's in very few supplements, but it's very, very important, is something called Shilajit, which is
Yes.
humic and fulvic acid.
Which is, and these acids, this fulvic and humic acids are acids that come from basically fermented soil, the soil that we should all be having access to. That's just our traditionally our foods were grown in soil that was very rich
With compost.
with compost and bacteria that were fermenting things. And because of modern farming practices, you basically do not have this going on anymore,
No.
and it's depleted and does not have these acids, and they're very important for human health. These We know that the fulvic and humic acid helps detoxify the body.
Yep.
It can actually go systemic and grab things that don't belong there and get rid of them, but it also can help the body, particularly in the gut, absorb nutrients better. And the microbiome loves this stuff.
Yep. It's the equivalent. What it does for the soil is what,
It's doing for our gut.
yes, this is how the soil, well, one of the ways the soil benefits get into our gut. And unfortunately, as you said, modern farming has, even organic farming doesn't stress what you do to the soil as
Right.
much as it does herbicide and pesticide
Right.
free.
What's going on in the soil greatly impacts the quality of your food, and that those foods are going to impact your gut.
Yep. And everything was organic 100 years ago.
Right. And it
now,
also was grown in very rich soil,
yep.
which we do not have. And that rich soil contained these acids. The soil today does not. And so we're trying to replace that with this shake.
The last ingredient I want to go over in the shake is something called triphala. It is an artivaric herb that's been around for centuries. There's even proverbs about it saying if you want good health but don't have your mom, don't worry because you have triphala. It really is a proven gut health artivaric herb. It means 3 fruits in Hindi, and that's all it is. But these 3 fruits provide so much gut health. And that's a supplement in itself, but this is another thing that we've included in this. And you just did that to basically just to turbocharge the gut health?
It's because of its history of being so good for you, and we have thousands of years of documentation of this. Why not include it?
Right. There is one last ingredient. We included a blend of fibers. One, because we need more fiber
Right.
typically, but these fibers are also unique because they help bind up any toxins that may be released. It's apple pectin, marshmallow, not the
Right.
ones you roast, and psyllium. And these are all very good mucilagens that help bind things
right,
as
and
well
also-
as provide fiber.
And to keep things moving through the GI tract.
Yep.
It's very important to have daily bowel movements for children and adults, and these fibers help keep things moving through the GI tract
Gently.
very gently. Yeah, and yeah.
Because we've all been told eat more fiber and it backfires.
So
on us.
sometimes more fiber is not always the best advice, and I'm
these-
speaking from personal experience there. But yes, it's not too much fiber, and it's the right combination of fibers.
Okay. You also included chewable enzymes. These are actually very easy to take, but why'd you include a chewable enzyme?
So enzymes, digestive enzymes can help break down foods better, right? Our GI tracts produce digestive enzymes, but if there is inflammation present, GI microbial imbalances, sometimes these enzymes aren't being produced and utilized as they normally would be. So we are replacing these in the body and just making sure that there's enough present to digest the foods adequately. Because when you have a state of undigested food, there's going to be problems. And so we want to make sure that that process is moving slowly. Again, trying to mimic what the body is supposed to be doing.
It also has some other therapeutic benefits because they're enzymes and you're taking them. There's no downside to them, but they help us with, there's a term called biofilms, which is basically just plaque that develops in the stomach lining that it
Well, it's
helps.
a mucus layer that forms in the GI tract, and it's supposed to be there. We have a biofilm there. It needs to be there. It's protective. But sometimes these films can become, quote, pathological, meaning they can become very thick, and they can start incorporating things they normally wouldn't, that then hide bacteria, parasites, and other microbes that can be stimulating the immune system in negative ways. They're just kind of hanging out there and hiding, especially if your child has been on multiple rounds of antibiotics. These biofilms are much more likely to develop. And so these enzymes can help break that biofilm down to expose any pathogens that might be hiding underneath the biofilm, so that the body's own immune system can then take care of them.
Excellent. We also include something called Biome Restore, which is a spore-based probiotic.
Right.
Everyone is familiar with lactobacilli or bifido,
Bifido, yeah.
but spore-based is different.
Spore-based it's just a different type of bacteria. We have different types of bacteria, and they are typically in the soil, right? And because, again, of modern farming practices, we're not getting a lot of these spore-based probiotics.
Right.
And also because of the germophobia that now exists as well. Everybody's cleaning everything to death. We're just simply not getting a lot of these in our diet. And so we are replacing these.
I just read an article. They were tracking the health of children who went into barns, meaning they lived on a farm.
Right.
And if they were exposed to barns from age 0 to 4, their health trajectory was so much better than the other kids. Because guess what's in the barn? Lots of spore-based.
Lots of different bacteria.
Yep, from the cows, from the sheep, the goats, the chickens, everything, the hay.
Right.
And so this is an example of spore-based probiotics. Right. They're God's probiotics.
Yes.
Okay.
We've evolved with them. We need them.
So in addition to the spore-based probiotic, we also include a more traditional probiotic. It is a powdered probiotic. So again, it's easy for the kid to take. You can include it in the shake or in the applesauce or whatever
juice
he's eating.
or something like that.
But why'd you also include a traditional probiotic?
Well, it's not traditional. It's just another is different species of probiotics. A diverse, if a gut with a diverse microbiome is best. Now, the optimal probiotic that we include has a lot of the beneficial bacteria that reside in our GI tracts. These are ones that we all have, and they need to be there in sufficient amounts for the gut to function like it should, and the microbiome, to be happy, and the rest of your body to be happy. And so we've also included this one as well. So we're trying to diversify the microbiome as best we can, because again, inflammatory diets, antibiotics, other medications can really disrupt this microbial balance and kill off a lot of the beneficial bacteria, so that other ones that normally shouldn't be in large amounts start growing in large amounts. Same thing can happen with yeasts. And so we're just trying to reverse that and get that back into balance. And that's why we do that with different types of probiotics. Now, the other spore-based probiotic that you mentioned does come in a capsule form, but again, like you said, you can just simply open that up and put the contents into juice, the smoothie, applesauce, or something like that.
Yeah, we've designed this for everything that's easy to take, and the spore base has no flavor profile, so
Right.
it's easy to
Yeah.
hide in the food. Well, I think that's everything that we have in this program.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the program with just the products themselves, and they they really work best when they're used together. I have seen patients do parts of this program, like just the probiotics, or just the foundation shake, or just the enzymes, and it does not get the results as doing all of it together. And then, of course, doing an elimination and reintroduction diet, I think, is absolutely crucial for any child who's having problems, because you have to rule out food sensitivities.
It's a great place to
You
start.
you have to.
And a healthy gut is the foundation for
Absolutely.
a healthy person.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a good explanation of everything that's in this
Yeah.
product in this program.
Yeah.